Umpire and a Vampire square off week after week, reviewing movies outside their own strike zone. Tonight's movies, the 1980 Friday the 13th, the OG, and the 1989 Field of Dreams. Starring Kevin Costner, Kevin Bacon, Amy Madigan, Betsy Palmer, Ray Liotta, Robbie Morgan, and Luke's father. Now, two guys who bring everyone so much joy when they sign off. Tim Crutchman and Jeff Miller.
Oh my God! Oh,
I got it all in there.
You did get it all
That's
in
what
there.
she said.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
That's what she said too. We're gonna have a great time tonight,
Oh
Tim.
my God!
Tim, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you are. Except for you couldn't find your opening. He's
know.
like, "Oh, I got such a great opening," and then he can't find it.
But I did. But you don't even know what I did in the beginning for the 10-9-8.
You named off all the victims from Friday the 13th.
Yeah, 10 back. That's pretty smart.
Wow.
That's thinking. That's when you got a couple weeks to ruminate about this.
That's the way it is. Hey, everybody. You're watching Dead on the Bases. I'm a horror fan. He's a sports fan. So, of course, he watches a horror movie. I watch a sports movie. He's Jeff Miller. We call him the Ump. Jeff enjoys spending time with his dog, Tango. I was told to tell you that his dog does not dance. I'm going to offer this up. Neither does Jeff. He's Jeff Miller. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. I didn't know that was a question. But, yeah, I try to dance, but it's mostly liquor-induced. So, other than that, I really don't dance.
We all know that from your rendition of Tequila.
Oh, that's right.
The horror realm
That's right.
a number of years ago.
That was fun, though.
I was sitting there, and I'm like, I wonder how many steps he's getting in right now.
I know.
Because you were just parading around that place.
So
it was frightening.
It was.
It was a little frightening.
I will do it again this year. We're gonna raise money, and I will do it for.
You're gonna raise money.
We'll raise money for a charity, and I'll do tequila
What are you gonna
again.
do? Hold dollar bills over your head? Because that's what you do at the strip joint.
Here we go. Well, my partner here, that's Tim Crutchman. He's the Vamp. He enjoys horror movies. And I'm learning a lot about movies from him.
Well, tonight was an educational night for you. I had seen this movie before, but literally the movie that I'm doing, I had not watched since it was on the big screen.
Since '89.
I don't think I ever revisited it.
Good.
I remember seeing it in the theaters, and of course, I am talking about the movie Field of Dreams. The oddest part about all of this is when I watched it, and I'm watching the movie, and all of a sudden my phone is blowing up with news that James Earl Jones had passed away. I was literally thinking, should I watch this or should I watch Friday the 13th that night? And I thought, I'll watch Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th, so I'll watch Field of Dreams.
Smart.
So I'm watching Field of Dreams, and my phone is saying, James Earl Jones, and that's about all that would show, in the thing. And I'm like, is it listening in on me again and say, here's some James Earl Jones stuff? Or, I was legitimately wondering, and I'm like, Dad, what's going on? I honestly wasn't sure he was still alive, because I remember there was a story about him selling his voice to Lucasfilm for Darth Vader, and they have an AI that will be doing his voice in the future.
Okay.
So I kind of thought he was already dead.
Really?
But I'm sitting there watching the movie. It's like, oh no, he passed away right while I'm watching Field of Dreams. In fact, I think the notifications almost synced with the time he was on that thing. It was so creepy, man. It was creepy. Now, you watched a creep out movie.
I watched Friday the 13th, and I have never seen
Did you watch it on the 13th, or you watched it a different day?
And I watched it different. I watched it a different day.
Yeah, that's fine.
And to be 100%, I didn't watch that day. But I've never seen this movie, and I thought that I saw part of it before, but this was not the one that I saw, because I don't remember the scene that I saw the first time I thought I saw it. But this movie...
That is an incredible sentence. We need to break that one down. It wasn't the scene that I saw when I thought I saw the scene that I saw.
Correct.
Okay, I got it.
I'm glad you got it. But this movie, I'll tell you right now, and I'm gonna probably.
You're good for one or two of those a show.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's the thing.
Here's the thing. For folks that are drinking along, that's our first. Here's the thing in the show.
There's not a
there will
drinking-
be enough. Yes, there will. People are going to drink every time you mention how long a movie is. People are going to drink every time that I interrupt you. People are going to drink.
They should. If you do it every time Tim interrupts me,
You'll be on the
passed out.
floor
You'll be
dead.
passed out in 20 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to be calling an ambulance for you.
But the cool thing about it is that when he does interrupt, it's about something good and you learn something. So it's always good when Tim interrupts.
I am a teacher of people.
Okay. Anyways, so am I rolling right into my review, or am I just asking me if I watched this?
What?
Am I rolling into my review?
Should we do that?
Well, no, I guess.
We probably should.
Did you?
But
Okay.
what just happened?
I don't know. I don't care.
I don't. I do care about everything, as you know, Jeff. But I think it is time to get you rolling to talk about the movie.
What movie? Oh, Friday the 13th. Oh, hey, did you just put
What movie?
You just put my email up there. I need to write that down.
It's Jeff at otherworldlyculture.com, Jeff.
It's .com, not .org.
It's .com.
That's why I can't get to it. I'm sure there's a lot of...
There it is again.
Okay, there you go. So just keep filling up that inbox, and I'll get to those answering those
It
questions.
seems like everybody else in the world knows your email with how much email you get.
I get a lot.
So it's amazing.
And so here we go. So Friday the 13th. Now this is this movie came out in 1980. This is what set the stage basically for slasher movies. This is like the beginning of the slasher, what we know of as slasher movies in the 80s. This was the first of those. It's an hour and 35 minutes long. So this is again.
There it is. Everybody get out your flask.
So this movie, but the cool thing about that is that if you know anything about movies or what I like or whatever, that's a sweet spot. That's a really good movie. 135. So that's 1 hour and 35 minutes.
It just go. People are already passing out.
They're not.
They are.
The director is Sean S. Cunningham. The guys who wrote this is Victor Miller, no relation to myself, of course. Ron Kurtz. And we have a star-studded cast of people that really didn't do anything except for Kevin Bacon.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. This is actually the third movie that he did. First one was Animal House. They did something else, and then they got him on.
Well, in Animal House, I think he's almost like a background player.
He has a couple words to say. He says, "Thank you, may I have another?" when he's getting swatted in the rear end.
All right. Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
That's true.
I know my stuff. All right.
I think this is a bigger part.
Yeah, well, it was such a big part that he shaved his armpits for it. Did you know that?
I don't really check who shaves what.
Okay, I'm just telling you. This is what goes on. This is what I bring to the show. I bring the little.
You bring personal hygiene notes.
I bring
of the actors.
I bring all the little things that you might not know, and I really don't know, but
they
I do
really
know.
are little things.
They are. So here we go. So this movie, it's kind of cool because it starts out as.
It is kind of cool.
It is. It starts out in like 1955 or something like that, and it's a bunch of camp counselors there, and honestly, I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm going to say a few things. So if you think you're going to hear something that you should hear, don't listen. But in the
okay, we're going preemptive.
No, I can control myself. I can.
You haven't proven that ever.
Well, I will tonight. So
it's never going to happen.
So in this movie, someone gets killed before they even put up the title of the movie. It caught me off guard. I was not expecting that. I didn't expect what I saw, but it lays down the groundwork from what the past is to the present. So what this is basically is it's a campground that gets reopened up by, I think, relatives of the people who had the campgrounds back in the 50s. And he wants to reopen this up. He's like a hippie dude. And he's going to open up this campground, and he's got these camp counselors coming in. And everything seems fine. You really don't get any kind of feel of anything bad happening. Not right away. Not while they're setting up the joint. Nothing happens.
You're like 2 minutes into the movie, and that creepy guy starts going up to the girl that wants to be a cook.
But that didn't.
And he said, "It's camp blood. They should never reopen it." people die.
It's pretty good.
And keep in mind, before the Friday the 13th comes out and breaks the glass at the opening, they have the whole scene in the 50s where 2 people get killed.
That's what I said.
Right. So when they're setting it up later on, you already know that bad things happen.
But
here.
I feel like that to me felt like that was an isolated incident. And I didn't think that was going to happen again.
Double homicides are so often just isolated incidents. Jeff thinks that you should just be fined for that. You should just get a fine because really it's no big deal when there's a double murder.
Here's the thing.
That's why we all kids need more murder.
Here's the thing.
Did you see how I got into that?
I know. You always get it.
You're welcome.
Here's the thing. All right? So, yes, 2 people die in the very beginning, but if you've never seen this movie before, you don't really know where this is going to go. And yes, there is an old, crotchety old guy that's like, don't go there, you're going to die, red rum, all this sort of stuff. Right. But you just
sounds like tango.
But you just check him off as a crackpot, right? Then you have one of the girl that's going to be the cook. This was strange to me. She gets dropped off there, right? And she's going to walk. I think the woman said there's 20 miles. I'm like, there's no way.
No, not 20 miles, but it's
I think
good,
she said 20 miles.
It was 20 miles from the restaurant.
Yeah.
But it was probably a good mile that she had to walk into the actual camp.
Right,
yeah.
And then she gets, some guy picks her up, some hitchhiker. He picks her up. She's the hitchhiker. Right. You see how he kind of like boosted her into the truck? He
I was thinking that's what I would do.
I thought
that's what I would do.
I thought this is where this is starting. This is where it's going to get crazy, right?
Yeah. But, and what happened is Jeff was watching this on Roku or something, and it put a pound sign Me Too right on the screen during that sequence.
So anyway,
I was sitting there when I saw that. I'm like, they couldn't do that today.
No, I picked
that.
Up
That would
right
not
away.
make it into the final cut.
And it probably wasn't even in the movie, but this guy's like, I'm going to lift her up anyways. I bet she did. But anyways, back to I digress. We digress.
All right, yeah.
So
I've forgotten how long the movie is.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
It's
hold on a second.
An hour and 35 minutes. It's an R-rated movie. So, but here's the thing. Okay, we know that. But anyways, so she has to get dropped off and she has to walk a little further and someone else picks her up and she gets killed. And now you're like, wait a second. This stuff's happening outside the campground, so something's going to happen. But what I did notice in this, Tim, is that when these people start dying in this movie, when these camp counselors and they're all camp counselors, when they start dying, they actually set it up so that you don't really know who it is, because they show the Jeep and the main guy. The main guy drives the Jeep, so you're thinking, oh, maybe it's him. Then they show the snake scene, and you think it's someone else that might have done that. The guy that I'm glad that they offed was Ralph.
Oh.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You're telling who dies. I'm kidding.
They all
I'm
die.
screwing with you. I'm going to screw with you a lot.
Ralph, I didn't like Ralph. I thought he was
You didn't like poor Ralph.
No, because he was obnoxious. He was obnoxious. I didn't like him. I wanted him to be gone. And when they killed him off, I was very happy. But there is a sports horror connection, and this is in the middle of my
Hold on. There we go.
Ralph is wearing a number 88 Dolphins jersey, and that was no other than Keith Jackson from the Miami Dolphins wore that jersey during that time frame.
Is that an actual sports figure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you.
There you go. But this takes place in New Jersey, so I don't know why the kid's wearing a Dolphins jersey, or he could be wearing a Jets jersey or a Giants jersey, but somehow he liked the Dolphins.
Now, no attention to detail.
No, really. Yeah. But where there is attention to details, I actually saw in the beginning when the girl jumped into the other truck, a fuel truck goes by, and it had an actual phone number on there, not a 555. So I got on my phone and I called it, and sure enough, it goes to an oil supply company in New Jersey. I mean, they're supposed to do 555, so they didn't do it. So I'm going to check it.
You should have called some in. Got some oil.
No, but
keep your Jeep running.
Did
you notice everybody drives a Jeep in this movie?
Of course they do.
So here's what Jeff has jumped in. Jeff is like, oh, it's so great to have
It's
a
a
Jeep
Jeep
because
movie.
in this movie, either the Jeep doesn't run or it's owned by a psychotic. Those are the two Jeeps in the movie. Psychotic or doesn't run, but Jeff's Jeep has both. Okay, go on.
Very good. But I didn't see any ducks. So there
There
was
was
no
no
ducks.
ducking.
There's
Yeah.
no ducks on a Jeep.
No ducking
You
ducks.
probably had a duck on one of the Jeeps. But a fact about that, similar to Kevin Bacon's armpits, another fact is that they used the same Jeep in the movie. It just one had a hard top and they just made it into a soft top for the other one. They used only one Jeep.
Oh my
Look
God.
at that. Anyways,
I think you're probably the only person that ever looked that up. Ever.
I did like the sound effects in this movie. The sound effects were really kind of great. Yeah, not so much bad because that's just like anybody can do that. But throughout the whole movie, you're hearing the crickets and the sound of a wet, rainy night in the woods. And I thought that was really well done. Regardless how they did it.
You know, this movie, for being made for $2 and a ham sandwich, the production value is very good. The effects are very good, done by your personal friend,
Tom Savini.
Tom.
Ted?
I'm kidding. It's Tom.
See, doggone it.
Every time.
Ugh.
Every time.
Anyways, so Tom Savini, but anyways, they did it on an actual Boy Scout camp in New Jersey. So it had the look of an actual camp. It wasn't like it was a stage or anything. They had to build the bathrooms up. But Tim, I really thought that the sound effects of the being raining and the crickets and the frogs,
I'm not going to disagree.
I felt like I was there.
Yeah.
I felt like I was there.
And I don't think there was any surround sound or anything recorded on this thing. I think it was at most stereo.
The score is perfect. The stuff that they put in there, I thought was very good. There's a few things that I thought were a little hokey, like when the one guy gets killed.
It took me a long time to cut that down.
Wait, do it again then. Am I missing something?
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
No, I didn't think so.
But I was proud of it.
It's very good.
Thank you.
So anyway, back to my review. So where's my bell? So anyways, there's a few parts in there where there's a couple mistakes that happen. Like
oh no.
When Bill, he's twitching on the wall when he was supposed to be dead.
We're twitching right now.
You can see his eye twitching. The one where the main camp.
Oh, somebody read the IMDb.
No. I saw it as I watched it. I was taking notes. Also, the main female character, she's blocking a door that opens out.
Yes.
I didn't read that in the IMDb.
I kept thinking.
You knew I was going to think about
I've
that.
seen that a few times before in this movie, and I'm like, is that an homage to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, or is that just stupid?
I think they just.
I think it's just they wanted to have that visual, and they probably even they were probably like, I ain't gonna do anything because I really like at first she takes a rope.
Yep.
And ties it up, and I'm like, that works.
Yep.
But then she does this other stuff. I'm like, well, that's worthless.
Only thing I could think about is she was trying to make it like a barricade.
Difficult for him to come through. Yeah.
But we're giving him too much credit on that.
Yeah. No, I think they just wanted a visual of all this crap in the way, and knowing that she would have to dig through that crap again to get out.
There are some really creepy pictures in that cabin. If you take a look and you watch it, if you ever watch it again, above the typewriter, there's like this old time, like 1820s picture of like some old people. It was creepy looking.
Oh yeah, nobody likes old people.
Well, but you know what I mean. I'm saying,
we're considered old people by a lot of our audience.
The scene in the locked pantry was harrowing. That was when she was locked.
The scene in the what?
When she locked herself in the food pantry.
Oh, okay.
And the killer's coming after her. That's similar to what happened in Halloween, where Jamie Lee Curtis was in the closet. Right. But for some reason it was very harrowing. Like I said, the way that they put together the sound and the footage and the camera work, I actually felt like I was there. I did. I mean, it was put together well on that respect.
It's well produced.
Yep.
I think it's decent direction. It isn't anything too creative. Direction-wise, it isn't like watching a Joel and Ethan Coen movie where the camera's doing all sorts of acrobatics and that. But it was perfect for that. I thought kind of starting the movie with the girl that wants to be the cook.
Yeah.
And, you know, she shows that she loves animals.
Yes.
And she is like the most positive person in the world. You want to meet this girl, right? She is just the sweetest thing on the earth. They're like, okay, stomp her out like a bug.
I think that's another thing.
That's good stuff.
That's another thing when you don't expect that person to die. I didn't expect.
Right.
I expected her to at least last a little bit, but she was done. She didn't even make it to camp.
Right.
And she wanted to be there.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. There was no paddle in her canoe either when she's canoeing out. That was kind of goofy also. I did
going up the creek without her paddle.
Yeah. All in all, I really did like this movie.
I think didn't they break the paddle or something over
in the fight.
Or oar? I don't know what the difference of an oar or a paddle is.
But like when you say that they didn't have all these cameras going in all these different directions, I don't think this movie needed it.
No,
just because it was 1980.
It was the right.
I mean, that's
it was early in the slasher cycle. A lot of people
one of the first ones.
It was early. There are a lot of people that will go to different movies and say, this is the beginning of slashers and blah, blah, blah. I don't know that you could go all the way back. You could go really far back and say, well, this is a slasher movie. But this was early in when it started becoming very popular in the 80s, and it just blew up through... I would say the late 90s. That was really the golden age where there was a new slasher coming out all the time. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the biggest franchises.
And it also spawned a bunch of spoof movies too. So I mean, it sort of started the snowball down the hill, and for lack of a better term, we live in Wisconsin, so it got bigger and bigger and bigger and kept on going until it got down there. This is a movie that I would, sorry, with it being an hour and 35, it keeps you engaged. You know that you're not going any further, and it just, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the rest of them. I want to connect the dots through the Friday the 13th.
Do you know how many there are?
12.
Right. And everybody is like, how the hell can we not get a 13th Friday the 13th?
I know. Can you imagine that?
There's a possibility there'll never be another one.
Do you know how many kills there have been over all of them combined?
Well, you're Mr. Statistics. What is it?
181.
181?
I came across that on accident.
12 movies.
I don't know. I can't do that.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's over 10 apiece.
You know, John Wick has that in one movie.
Well, so does Die Hard 2 because they keep throwing entire planes full of people.
They gotta stop doing Christmas movies with Bruce Willis. So, anyways,
Die Hard 2 is also a Christmas movie. Do you want to debate that one?
No, I just want to get out of my little throw here.
Yeah, because that was our worst episode ever.
Am I supposed to give them the number of that oil company? Because I wrote that down. Anyways, so back to my rating. Let me give you a rating.
You're going to give me a rating.
Let me wrap it up real quick. So an hour and 35 minutes long. It's an R-rated movie. It's the beginning of the slashers as they move through the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
It spawned off a bunch of other movies.
Yes.
It's about these camp counselors that a murderer comes in and starts picking them off. And then it moves on from there. And I can't tell you anymore because I promised I wouldn't spoil it. Because if you are a person like me that has never seen a horror movie or have never seen this one, this is a great, great starting point. This is a fantastic starting point.
There are actually 12 other people in the United States that have not seen this.
This is a great starting point. This is the one that I think that if you've never watched a horror movie, start with this.
Okay, and what are we scoring it?
I'm giving it a nice solid 9.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
It's
really
more of a mystery film than a horror film.
I enjoyed it. And I mean, I hate to say that because I enjoy seeing people get killed, but I enjoyed it. I mean,
well, you do.
I mean, they had actually killed a live snake in this movie. A live snake, not a CGI.
Really?
Yeah.
That's another reason it would get canceled today.
But not right. Not
Now-
no Pete. There was no PETA on the set. Probably.
Who do you think I'm going to connect with the Pauly Shore connection?
The snake? No. With the Pauly Shore, I think Kevin Bacon, right?
Right. I mean, the 7 degrees of bacon or whatever it is.
Need fundage, bro.
They were probably in a movie together. No, I'm gonna say 2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay. It's supposed to come up. Where is it? There it goes.
Oh, look at that.
So I connected him through Clint Howard. That's Ron Howard's brother. He was in, I think, Gentle Ben. He was in that. But Kevin Bacon and Clint Howard were in Frost Nixon together. And then Clint Howard was in that train wreck of a movie, Pauly Shore is Dead, which we make a ton of connections through that one because of how many cameos. Mm-hmm. I thought for sure we were going to go through JFK for this. In fact, there were a couple, because Kevin Bacon, everybody always talks about JFK because there's like 5 million people in that cast that have done a lot of stuff. I was hoping to get around JFK and get around Pauly Shore is Dead, but when I found Clint Howard, I'm like, oh, he's just so perfect.
He's in a lot of movies. Yeah, Ron Howard directs, right?
Yeah, he's in a lot
That's
of
how he
those,
gets
but he's been a character actor. He's a good character actor. He likes playing creepy characters.
Yeah.
He's funny. So he's a talented actor, actually, if you watch his more less campy stuff. But yeah.
But yeah, it's a solid movie, and I mean, it's one of the better ones you've given me. I mean, you started out last season really strong with Reanimator and Frankenhooker, and I put this right in there with them. I enjoyed the movie to the point of it was a story, and it made sense to me.
Fantastic. Well, Friday the 13th right now is not free on any streaming service.
No kidding.
It is on Amazon for $3.79 for rental and $6.99 to purchase, though I hear it's about to be taken off of Amazon for purchase. You can buy it on Apple TV for $6.99 and rent it for $3.99. So that's what's going on there.
And just so you know that it's the Elson Oil Supply. They're now Dixon Energy.
Okay, I'm sure that they are.
347.
Oh God! Don't. Okay, stop it.
I didn't give the area.
Naughty. Okay, everybody.
555-1212.
Do you know what time it is?
I don't know.
It's time for the break, everybody, and we start off our sports section of the show.
Which sports do we have tonight? Do we have this today in sports history?
Yeah, we got it ready.
All right.
It takes a second to cycle through. First, you have to remind everybody who you are.
I'm Jeff Miller.
Yeah, because people forget from the beginning of the show. See, now it says Jeff Miller.
Yeah.
So everybody knows who and what you are.
Congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers for clinching their playoff spot before any other team this year. So go Brewers. They did that last night. All right. I'm Jeff Miller, and this is Today in Sports History, September 19th. In 1901, all Major League games were canceled for the funeral of the 25th President, William McKinley. On September 19th, 1947, Jackie Robinson is named the Rookie of the Year from the Brooklyn Dodgers. In 1968, Detroit pitcher Denny McLean wins his 31st game of the season despite Mickey Mantle hitting his 535th home run. In 1971, the inaugural New York City Marathon for women was won by Beth Bonner. It was the second year for the men, and that was won by Norman Higgins. In 1988, on September 19th, Greg Louganis smashes his head during the 3-meter springboard preliminaries in Seoul, Korea, but he won it the next day in the 20th. 2004 NFL Oakland Raider Jerry Rice ends his NFL streak of 274 consecutive games with a catch in a 13-10 win over the Buffalo Bills. That's Jeff Miller, and I'll get sports right next time a little cleaner. That doesn't even make sense. I'm Jeff Miller, and that's Today in Sports History.
It sure is, Jeff.
Can you just like fix that in post-production?
No. Everybody loves that.
That sounded awful. I gotta record that. I'm not gonna do that live anymore. I can't read my own writing. That's the problem.
That is an issue.
I wanted to say Kenny Loggins for Greg Louise.
Why would you say Kenny Loggins?
Like Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins never swam in his water. He actually melts in water.
Let's make
I
some
don't know if
merch
you
money.
know that.
Let's make some merch money.
Are you ready? What do you think this week's special ad is going to feature at the end?
What place?
Yeah, where do we have our merch? It's hard to keep track of all the places.
It better not be where I'm
merch.
thinking in my head. I'm gonna say it's gonna be.
Let's make some merch money.
Oh, let's see.
But if
Here we go. Ooh, you could get a koozie. I hear those are available in Pittsburgh now.
Yeah.
Open it up, Muskego style.
I like this. That's nice. Fair enough.
Right next to the popcorn. That's why I used it.
Discontinued.
I did look it up. It exists. It's still going. They are doing like not that many anymore. I think there are 3 traveling shows and 1 tent show, and that's it. That's all they got.
Do you know where the Circus Museum is in Wisconsin?
Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Okay, but I knew something else. Because that's true. But do you know
It
where
used to be where Ringling Brothers would winter,
No.
which makes no freaking sense.
No, but-
If you're going to winter this thing, why would you not do it in Florida or down south?
The
somewhere?
trivia question that I'm looking for is where was the first circus? And I think it's Delavan, Wisconsin, but I don't know how the question goes. The answer is Delavan, Wisconsin.
Okay, so if you hear that trivia question, send it in. Send it to Jeff at
Yeah.
otherworldlyculture.com.
And I'll answer it for you.
Right.
So there we go. So I'm done with my review.
We do have to mention something that's coming
Yes,
up,
let's
little
do it.
Jeffy Jeff. And it's coming in only 161 days.
That'll go by fast, Tim.
It is. You know what? We are now getting into spooky season, which it used to be people waited until the beginning of October, but now it's like right after Labor Day, everybody is like, giddy up, let's get into horror time.
Costco has up Christmas stuff, so they've already bypassed the Halloween stuff.
Oh, wow.
No kidding. That's not even a joke.
That's amazing.
But yes, you're right. Now it ramps up. Now it gets spooky time. It gets darker out sooner. Yep.
And if you come to Horror Realm this year, there's only 4 guest announcements so far, but they're from 2 different franchise or movies. Thanksgiving, the movie that Eli Roth put out last year, and Return of the Living Dead, which Jeff watched last time here on this program, and somehow gave the thing a 2, which he will need to answer for. If you see him at Horror Realm, feel free to say, Jeff, how could you give Return of the Living Dead a 2?
Okay.
And it's going to be interesting to watch him try to wiggle off the hook with that.
I won't have to.
You will. But anyway, that is coming in a scant 161 days. So we're all getting prepared for that.
But between then and now, we have a whole bunch of different shows, so it's going to go fast.
It is
We
going to
have
go
this,
fast.
you have Dead On movies, we have the horror radio show.
And we have the new now streaming coming at Halloween, which will star Susie.
Yes.
And she is going to be showing, we're not going to spoil which movie yet, but we're all going to watch the same movie and then talk about it.
It is an address. It's an address.
Phone number.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Well, wait a second. That movie with Wesley Snipes and Diane Lane, that was an address. 1600 Pennsylvania.
Yeah, do you know what address it
Yeah,
is?
it's the White House.
Okay.
Well, doesn't this one sound like an address also to you?
No, it sounds like a telephone number.
Well, when we do this on
because
Halloween,
we're going to get into this.
when we do this on Halloween, I'll let you guys know I'm right.
Wow. No, you really won't.
Oh, hey, and a quick shout out to a couple quick people that we have listening this week.
Okay.
Casey and Tree. They're both listening. They're probably working hard over at the China Lights, but they said that they would listen. They got some merch, so they're going to be repping our merch online and checking in on our show when they can.
You know who's listening live right now?
No.
Well, Susie and the Bearded Beauty, but also, you ever notice how nice and clean my house looks certain Thursdays?
Yes.
Michelle, who does my
Really?
housekeeping, is listening. So
That's awesome. Hi,
she
Michelle.
she's a fan of you. Not me, but you. She's okay.
Does she
with.
go by Shelly or Mickey or Michelle or what does she go by? Michelle? Do you call her Michelle?
Are you looking to lose your one fan?
No, she might have a nickname.
Oh my God!
Well,
all right,
Susie Snowflake does.
Susie is a lot of things.
Oh, and you know who else might be listening this week? Who might be listening? Who might?
Okay.
Tiffany Shepis, Kane Hodder, and Felissa Rose. Because I sent out a Twitter to them, so they might be listening.
Oh, yeah. I bet they're all over it. All right, everybody. The movie I watched was Field of Dreams.
Yes, Field of Dreams.
It is probably a quintessential 80s film, a quintessential baseball film. This is the story of a lovely lady who's bringing up three very lovely girls.
No.
No, it isn't?
No.
Oh, maybe I saw the wrong one. This has the 500 times on this show, Kevin Costner.
You think he's been on it before?
I'm going to go through that later in the review. But my favorite line in the movie is this heaven? And the answer is no, it's Iowa. That's my favorite. I find it fascinating how often baseball movies they have this nostalgic romanticism about the sport. Like The Sandlot has this feel. The Rookie, The Natural. A lot of these baseball movies, you wouldn't make a football movie with this feel. It just wouldn't work. This one might be the most, and I'm calling it romantic. It isn't really a love story per se.
No. Well,
It isn't a romantic love story. It's a family love story. But it seems like the most romantic view of baseball.
yes.
Now, I had not seen this movie since it was in the theater. I'm almost positive. And yet somehow I remembered, if you build it, they will come. It's like everybody that year and for years following said that line. I was shocked how well this movie aged. The pacing I thought was going to be really slow because I remember it's kind of the slow burn movie and kind of lyrical in nature, but it actually plays pretty modern. The humor and fun of this sort of realistic fantasy, if that makes sense, kind of buoys what could have been a slog of sentimentality. There are the things like watching James Earl Jones pull out a bug exterminating spray because he hears that Kevin Costner is from the 60s. He's like, out! He's chasing him out of there. That's very funny stuff. And there's a couple scenes like that where it could have been really Hallmark Cardian, just way over the top. And they stop short of that. They don't let it get that sentimental. That being said, you tear up about every 15 minutes.
You do. Let me ask you this. This was before Hallmark really had their teeth into things. Do you think if this movie was made now, you think it would have more of a Hallmark feel? Do you think with the Hallmark brand out there?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, good.
Because
Good.
This was a movie that was made with not a big budget. It's not a big budget movie. But they brought in top talent.
Yep.
And you look at some of the people that were in here that were unknown at the time they made the movie or early in their careers. I mean, Kevin Costner, this was early in his career. Yeah, I think he had. Well, he was supposed to be in the Big Chill. He was supposed to be in the Big Chill. He got cut out of that, so they put him in Silverado.
Okay.
Which is my favorite Western. Then I think he had one other movie, and then I think it was this.
Well,
it was Bull Durham.
Yeah, it was right before
Bull Durham.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was worried, I think, for taking this because he had done Bull Durham. But I think he made the right choice. Because, I'm sorry, folks, this is a better movie than Bull Durham. I know, but this is the better movie for me not being a sports nut.
I get you.
Part of this is that relationship that James Earl Jones as Terrence Mann has with Kevin Costner, which makes no sense. Like, if Kevin Costner comes to my house and I'm this author and this guy starts spewing what he says, I would not leave the house with this guy. No. He's clearly out of his mind. He's hearing voices, and he wants you to go to a baseball game with him? That makes no sense.
He's driving a van?
But he's driving a van. Exactly. It's weird stuff. But then you know that this movie is quality because they get people like James Earl Jones, and they somehow land Burt Lancaster to do this film, which really gave it a lot of legitimacy because Burt Lancaster by this time, he was not only a star, he was a legend at this point. And he wasn't making a lot of movies. And his storyline, when it first starts happening, you're kind of like, what the hell has this got to do with anything? Why are we running off and doing this side quest here in the middle of the movie? And it pays off so incredibly well, like 50 times better than you think. Because you kind of think, Burt Lancaster, he did this one scene and he's out. He's done. And it pays off so incredibly well. And I'm not going to go into details there. It would be a spoiler. But
spoil
it. It's great stuff. And Tim Busfield, now this guy didn't do much except for during the 80s when he was on 30-something. And he's such a good antagonist in this movie. I wrote down one of the quotes of Terrence Mann / James Earl Jones. This is one of my other favorite lines. He said, "Your finger is a gun." He said, "Your finger is..." By the way, I found out doing my research on the show, Burt Lancaster's Minnesota home that's featured in the film was actually Galena, Illinois, which I have visited.
So have I.
Galena, Illinois. It's Grant's home is up on a hill.
Yes, it is.
There.
Yep.
That is the perfect place to shoot a kind of like small town, old time town, kind of timeless. It is perfect. So I will tell you, if you like that scene and you're like, boy, I wish a place like that still existed, it does. It's called Galena, Illinois. The Galena, Illinois Tourism Board should be shouting that from the tops of their roofs, though they probably all leak. It's so old.
When Debbie and I went there, she went because she wanted to do all this shopping because, jeez, they got all this shopping going on.
Gross.
You can just shop just down one street and up the other. But my thing was to go see Grant's situation. So it worked out for both of us. But yeah, if you have a wife that wants to just shop, send her that way. Check out the historical stuff.
You know what I remember about Grant's place?
Yeah.
Wow, there were a lot of stairs.
Yeah.
A lot of stairs, really thin stairwells.
Yep.
And I'm not a stairwell.
You know that I went to Field of Dreams, right?
Yeah.
I visited it.
Yeah. Now, did you hear any voices when you were there?
Yeah, my wife's saying, "What are you doing, Jeff?" Because I went in and out of the corn a bunch of times,
Of course you did.
and I ran around the base.
I saw you by the Forbes wall. I could just imagine how you behaved.
Yeah, but
So, do you remember the three things that are said? I'll read them for you. If you build it, he will come.
okay, that one, yeah.
And I
That one I
always
remember,
thought
yeah.
it was they will come.
Yeah, I did too.
But it's he will
Okay,
come.
all right.
Which makes more sense when if you
Yep,
know the payoff
yep,
of
yep.
the film.
Yeah, don't.
Ease his pain. That one I don't remember. And then go the distance. Now they
I think
did,
everybody just remembers the first one.
yeah, and they did cut out two more that are in the book.
Really? Oh, the book.
One was leave the gun, take the cannoli,
All right.
and the other one was tune in to Dead on the Bases on Thursday nights as part of the Dead on Thursdays rotation.
Wow, that's some foreshadowing.
Did
there.
you know that?
Nostradamus must have wrote that.
Okay. Other things that I love about this movie, it was one of our president's favorite movies, George W.
Yep.
Loved this movie. But you can see, this is the type of movie a president would love.
Oh,
it's
sure.
so American. The other thing I love is it's a Universal film. And we all know I'm a Universal nut. So I love that about
Let me
this
take a
film.
little bit of notes here.
So, I can hear you all, but Tim, how does this movie relate to the horror movies? Because that's what people really care about, not all this sports stuff. So let's start with our pal, 500-time Hall of Famer. Do you know how many times?
Then we've had.
But I had to look it up.
I'm not going to look over there, but I'm going to say. So we had.
Let's see how you do.
We had the program, Bull Durham.
Oh, I missed the program. Was he in the
Oh
program?
no.
He wasn't in the program.
Draft day.
Draft day. Yeah.
Bull Durham, Tin Cup.
Yep.
That's it.
I did miss draft day.
3.
Okay, here's
McLeod.
no. We had Tin Cup, Mr. Brooks. He was
yeah.
a horror. Remember, it was the Double Threat episode.
Yeah.
We have Bull Durham, McFarland, Draft Day, and now Field of Dreams.
I mean, I think you get one more this season.
Do we?
I do. I think you get the baseball one where he's a pitcher. I think you get that one.
Bull Durham.
No, I think you get For the Love of the Game. I think that's this year too.
Oh my God. Yeah, he. You know what?
I
We
love-
should have him on the show.
We could.
He really wants to come on.
If I set that up,
He
can you make it
told me.
happen?
He told me he wanted to come on the show.
I'll set it up.
All right. Other ones we have is Amy Madigan. Now, Amy, I believe, is probably better known for television. She's done a lot of television.
Her name sounds familiar.
But she actually has more credits than Kevin Costner.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Really?
She has 87, and Kevin Costner has 66. That blew me away. But I think she's got a lot more there, like one-shots and stuff in TV.
Okay.
But she has 5 total horror credits, putting her at a 5.7%. She was in the movie The Dark Half, which is a Stephen King adaptation. So that's one of her bigger credits. Gabby Hoffman. Now, that picture ain't going to help you. She's the little girl.
Okay.
She's the little girl. And I'm going to tell you what a poor little loser she is. Sorry, she does have 2 horror credits. I don't believe any of them are actual horror movies. They just kind of suck. So then we have
Must be rough.
Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Okay? He has, of the people I'm going to discuss, there's only one other actor that has more credits than Ray Liotta. He has 125 credits.
Wow.
Only 2 of which are horror credits, and one of those is Hubie Halloween, which I love, but it's a comedy. It's not a horror movie. So I'm going to just hit him with the no horror
Do you know what the
credits.
other one is by chance or no?
I
Okay,
didn't mark
all
it
right.
down. It was another one that's like,
Like
nobody's heard
okay,
of it.
Sure.
Then we got, of course, our boy Tim Busfield, which you won't recognize him here because he doesn't have his trademark ginger locks, which means, of course, that he has no soul.
Okay.
But he does have, I believe, is he it? Yeah, he is the one with the highest percentage of horror movie credits,
Really?
believe it or not. He has 9.6% of his credits are horror films, which includes our favorite, the 1995 Outer Limits. He was in the movie Strays, which is interesting because it was written by Sean Cassidy. You know who
really?
Sean Cassidy
Yeah,
is?
yes, I do. Yep.
Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Sean Cassidy actually went on to a very long and illustrious television writing career. He show ran a bunch of shows, actually. But he started early on writing TV movies, of which Strays was one of them with Timothy Busfield. Now, this guy... Oh, it's a different number than I thought, but this is the guy that has the most credits of our participants in this week's movie, and he is a Hall of Famer. Do you know what his Hall of Fame credit is?
I do.
Go ahead.
Sandlot.
Right. He was in the Sandlot. He out of 190 credits, he has 7 horror credits, which with his voice, that's just a shame because he is so scary sounding. But he has a significant role in The Exorcist 2, which is nothing to be proud of. But he has done a significant amount of voice work that did get used in horror films, but not as much as I would have thought. And our last one is going to be Burt Lancaster. You know this guy. 87 credits. Do you think he ever did a horror film?
Well, he's...
Like a real horror
No,
film,
probably
not some bullshit credit.
No, probably not.
He actually did. He did in 1977. He was Dr. Moreau in The Island of Dr. Moreau. That's the one with Michael York, which was not the disaster when Marlon Brando later played him.
Right, because there was another Island of Dr. Moreau, wasn't there, like in the 90s?
Yeah, and it was
Yes.
terrible with
I
Val
saw
Kilmer.
That. Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
I will tell you, I believe it's on Tubi. They have a documentary about the making of the movie. The documentary about the making of the movie is about 500 times better than the film because Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando are probably the 2 actors with the largest egos on the face of the planet.
Really?
And they go at it. It's remarkable. But that is our horror movie connection, which leaves us, of course, time for Pauly Shore.
You're going to connect him up with...
Connection.
I'm going to say Ray. Oh.
Direct connection to James Earl Jones.
You had to do it.
Because I had to. Because they were both in Casper, A New Beginning. Did you know there was a prequel to the Casper movie?
No.
Well, now you do.
So
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Was it James Earl Jones' voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He and Pauly Shore was the voice of one of the ghosts in the Casper films. That's another great place where I get a lot of connections is those Casper movies.
Oh.
And Pauly Shore was one of the characters in the Goofy movies. You know, like a Goofy movie, a Goofy movie 2. And
I didn't even know that
there's
was
there's a lot of connections.
How is that even a thing?
What?
The Goofy movies. I didn't even hear those.
Because Disney saw $1 and they bent to pick it up.
But it didn't go to the movie theaters, did it? It didn't go to theaters.
What?
The Goofy movies. That wasn't like in a theater.
I think they did.
Really?
I don't think they played for like 3 months, but I think they did. But I think now there's what you really want to see right there. See it
looking at?
up there? You didn't see the
It'll go around.
You never watch the slides.
I used to.
You never watch
like seasons
them.
1 and 2.
It hurts my feelings.
And it was tough for me to watch those.
So, what do you think I'm going to score this mediocre at best film?
No, you're setting me up. I heard the way you talked about it. It's a Universal movie, and it's not going to be mediocre. You're going to give it at least an 8.
You are wrong as always, Jeff. I'm going to give it a 9.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I had that just by the way because you always think I just do what you do. I had that written down before the show.
I believe
just
you.
so you know, because I don't like typing it into.
Were you surprised with what I gave Friday the 13th?
Actually, I was expecting it to do well. I didn't expect it to do that well. Now, I am going to tell you. Well, wait. I did a lot of research on Field of Dreams because I was I was wondering about this. Field of Dreams was a big hit, but where does it fit on our main man Kevin Costner's hit list?
Okay.
Because he's been in a lot of big movies.
Gotcha.
Do you know what the biggest box office movie he was in?
I know what I'm gonna say. The one that I think he raised the most, or that he got the most money out of, or the most money came out of.
The most money that the movie made.
Okay.
Not how he did.
So are we talking like
paycheck.
offshoots like JFK and stuff like that?
Anything
Okay.
he was in.
All right, then I'm gonna say it's gonna be. I want to say one, but I'm gonna say the other. So I think what I'm gonna say.
Are you ever going to have an answer?
I'm gonna go with what I just said. It's gonna be JFK. I'm going off the board.
Yeah.
Is it right?
No.
Oh. Then you laugh.
It is. Well, there was a funny picture up that you missed yet again.
Is it me?
Batman and
gonna watch.
Superman. Batman versus Superman was the biggest because he played Superman's father. Man of Steel was the second. Now, I'm going to say those don't count.
They should not count.
He was
No.
kind of a background character.
No.
His
no.
top movie was Dances with Wolves.
Oh, that makes sense. He won a couple Academy Awards for that, didn't he?
Yes. Then you go to 2016's Hidden Figures,
Wow.
where there he is. It's not like an almost cameo like the Superman movies, but it isn't a huge role. You know, he isn't one of the leads, but he is a strong supporting character. Then this shocked me. At 165 million was Robin Hood.
I saw that movie.
I knew that was a big
It was
movie.
that high though. Wow.
Yeah. I didn't think it was quite that high. And in $1991, that's an awful lot of cash.
Yeah.
Then we go to The Bodyguard,
Okay, with Whitney.
right? Then you go to Waterworld. These are all
I never
90s.
saw that.
Then we get to The Untouchables.
Okay.
JFK is the one that's closest, and then Field of Dreams. Okay? So Field of Dreams was 64 million.
Yeah.
JFK was 70 million.
Okay.
So I honestly, The Untouchables I like a lot. I didn't think it made more than those two.
No, I
I
know.
always felt like Untouchables was not a movie that made a lot, but it did.
That was the
Made a
Sean
lot of
Connery
money.
too, right?
Right. So going one step further, I
Yep.
looked at the ultimate movie rating.
Okay.
Okay. Ultimate Movie Rating. There's a website called Ultimate Movie Rating. And what they do is they look at how much money a movie made,
Mm-hmm.
and then they balance it with the critical response. Okay? So when it comes to box office for Kevin Costner, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's in 10th position, Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Do you think when you look at the combination of box office
Slice of
plus, okay, you finally
Okay.
saw it.
Okay.
When you
what's the
take the
question?
box office plus the movie reviews,
Uh-huh.
do you think Field of Dreams moves up from 10 or down?
Down.
Really?
I'm saying down.
Okay. It actually comes in 5th place. The
So
order
moved
goes Dances with Wolves, Hidden Figures, JFK, The Untouchables, then Field of Dreams.
Okay, cool.
And after that are the Superman movies.
Cool.
So I find that just absolutely fascinating. But this definitely is one of the top movies. And here's what I think is interesting throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Bull Durham wasn't on either of those two lists I just did.
No.
It
It's
comes
amazing.
lower down.
Wow.
Bull Durham was not the hit that people like to make it out to be. I think Bull Durham was discovered on the VHS Rex. I really do.
Really?
I think so.
I know. I saw it at Northtown Cinemas when I saw it.
Okay.
I remember seeing that.
Well, that's it for our reviews.
That's pretty cool, Tim.
Now
Good work.
we're doing some pretty exciting stuff because this is where we go head to head. One good head, and then Jeff.
I'm going to ask you first.
You're going to ask me first. Now, let me explain to the
gotta do.
folks at home. The way that this works is Jeff is going to read 3 statements. I'm going to tell him which one is false.
Right.
So he's going to tell me 2 true statements and 1 false one, and I need to detect his lie. Okay, so Jeff is trying to hide his face by not being in the camera, but that's
I'm
okay.
not trying to do that.
Actually,
You
it
move the
improves.
camera, I think.
What it does is it improves the video quality.
Stop.
So we're gonna go now, Jeff, Jazzy Jeff, the French Prince. Jeff,
Okay.
tell me your items.
Ray Liotta and Mark Grace of the Chicago Cubs are actually Eskimo brothers.
What the hell is an Eskimo brother? All right, go on.
James Earl Jones.
Does that mean they had sex? Or is it blood brothers?
They're Eskimo brothers. James Earl Jones.
Okay.
You're right with what you thought. James Earl Jones.
They had sex?
Yes.
Okay.
James Earl Jones, keeping up with his link to baseball, spoke the national anthem prior to the 1993 All-Star Game.
Okay.
And Ray Liotta actually led the Yankees and the White Sox out of the cornfield before the 2021 game between the two teams at the Field of Dreams in Iowa.
Who led it?
Ray Liotta. Then Ray Liotta.
I think I know the answer to this. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
The second one with James Earl Jones speaking the national anthem, unless you wrote that in some tricky way, like it was a different
I
All-Star
wouldn't
game
do
or
that.
something.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm pretty sure when he died, that was one of the videos that was going around on my thing. I know he, at least at a baseball game, did speak the national anthem lyrics. So number 2 is definitely true.
Okay.
3, that was Ray Liotta leading them out. I know there was a celebrity that led them out. Ray Liotta is probably more gettable than Kevin Costner. And Ray Liotta, I mean, when you look through his list of credits, he didn't say no an awful lot. So I'm thinking that one's true. So I'm going to say number 1 is false.
About Ray Liotta and Mark Grace being Eskimo brothers.
Yes, about all the sex that they had.
Actually, you're wrong.
Oh! Then it's got to be... Okay, let me guess then. Then it's got to be Ray Liotta didn't lead him out.
Costner did.
It was Costner.
Yep.
Okay, well, I will live up to that. That's okay.
Let me help you out with that. Eskimo brothers, they actually...
It means they kind of rub noses together.
No, Ray Liotta married Mark Grace's ex-wife. So therefore, they've shared the same ice fishing hole.
Okay. They shared a hole. I think I was right first time. Here are my 3.
Tim,
Here are my 3.
I tried to keep it clean, man.
I did too.
All right,
I always keep it clean over here, baby.
let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
Ari Lehman.
What?
Ari Lehman,
Okay.
who played the little Jason Voorhees in this film. Little Jason Voorhees.
Okay.
Okay. Now sells a hot sauce called Slasher Sauce.
Okay.
That's
All
one.
right. All right.
That's one. Number 2. Jason's iconic hockey mask is introduced in the next film, Friday the 13th Part 2, which picks up right after this film.
Okay. Okay.
That's number 2. Number 3, Kevin Bacon, who you might recall was also in Tremors, had to crouch on his knees for hours while his death scene was prepared for the camera. So number 1.
What?
Number 1.
What?
Slasher sauce. Number 2, the hockey mask.
Well, you don't have to ask me that one. That
And
one I
number
know.
3, Kevin Bacon having to crouch on his knees for hours.
Why? He was laying in a bed. I don't understand that. So then,
I'm not going to tell you more than that.
well, then there's a...
You get no assistance.
Okay, so I do... You know what? So this is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So that whole slasher sauce.
This is where he talks himself into the wrong answer.
No, I know it. I know this is
Watch this close.
But now watch. Okay, so
watch the genius in action.
Here's how this goes.
Okay.
That hockey mask thing, that one's true. Okay, that everybody even knows that. Even if you're not me, you know that. So here's that. But then you have the other two. Now, I'm thinking that slasher sauce is going to be a real thing because if you remember in Jaws, that woman that her kid dies or something, or the kid that dies or something, they have a diner and they actually have a sandwich. So he's like capitalizing on that one little bit. Okay. So I'm thinking this guy didn't do a whole lot after being a little kid.
That's
so
an understatement.
Okay, but well, I don't know. But I'm thinking that the way I'm going to build this pyramid up is I'm going to say that he had to do this because he wanted. And it's called slasher sauce.
Slasher sauce. It's a hot sauce, Jeff.
And then the other one about, but then the other one about crouching, that doesn't seem to make sense to me because he's in a bed. He's laying in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe he wasn't laying in the bed. Maybe he was kneeling and he was just like leaned back.
Just so everybody knows, Jeff cannot see what you're putting in the chat room. I'm just saying this right now because it's going ballistic.
They better not be helping me because I don't need help.
No, they know you don't look, so they just love putting.
So what I'm gonna say is,
I don't think they're trying to help you.
So here's the thing.
No.
Now, Tim, I know that you know.
I know everything.
No,
that is.
But you know that I watch this movie I watch him very closely.
Yes.
So you're gonna put in there that he's crouching, even though I know he was laying on his back in the bed, and the drill goes through his throat. But so then why would? So then you're saying, oh, Jeff's gonna think that he was just lying in his bed. So you know what, Tim? Here you go.
What?
Slasher sauce is the wrong one. That's the false one. Slasher is false.
I thought you were gonna get it this week. So sorry.
What was it, Tim?
The wrong one was
Tim?
Jason's iconic hockey mask doesn't make it until the third movie.
Oh my God.
Which is like a trivia question that always comes up. So I'm actually helping you. If you're ever doing bar trivia, the hockey mask doesn't make it till the third movie. The whole Jason thing doesn't gel to the third, and it's like halfway through.
How would I know that,
movie.
Tim? How would I know that?
It's a trivia question that's asked at every convention, and it is probably one that I took from that deck of cards that you bring along.
Oh, Tim.
But okay, let me tell you, the slasher sauce, it is kind of an ongoing joke. Ari Lehman, this is pretty well the thing they did. He has a band and stuff.
Yeah.
And slasher sauce is exactly as you said. It's like the one thing that he's cashing in on. And he goes to conventions all over the place to try to sell this stuff.
All right.
To the point where people don't invite him very much to these conventions anymore because all he's doing is trying to sell the sauce.
Explain the bacon
now,
one.
Kevin Bacon, yes,
I sniffed that out. I sniffed that out on you.
He's laying in the bed.
I sniffed it out.
But if you remember, an arrow goes through his neck. I'm going to give you a little piece of trivia. They didn't actually put an arrow through Kevin's neck. Okay, what they did is they put a fake body there, and he was crouching his head, and he was tilted back like this, and they had to go like this through a fake neck.
There you go. That would make sense.
See, I thought you would know that because you're Tom Savini's best friend. And that he would have talked to you about that thing. And I guess it was a really uncomfortable position.
I had that. But I discounted the mask so fast. But I talked myself through the other two. Oh, Tim.
Sorry. You want to hear the one I didn't use that was going to be a lie?
Yeah.
I don't think you would have got this one either. The Friday the 13th TV series in 1987 disposed of much of what the story of the film was, but was centered on Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, he probably would have. I think I'd rather have had that one get that one wrong, but doggone it, I was right there. I was right there.
Almost. It was it was like I was going insane. I'm like, he's right on it. He's right on. Oh, it looks like Kane Hodder just logged off.
Get out of here.
I look in the chat room right now. It says Kane Hodder is logged out. Would I lie to you?
No. Look at that. Thanks, Kane. Kane was in.
Take a look in the chat room, brother.
I can't see it.
You got to click things. Right, you scroll down. Right there. Right there.
Hodder has logged out. Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
It's
Thanks,
amazing.
Kane.
Yeah.
Now we
Anyway.
need to get Shepis and Rose in here.
Well, I think, we were done with the Friday the 13th stuff. So
But here's
it
the
was
thing,
less
though.
interesting.
But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Tim, good trivia question on your part. That was,
Well, you got me.
I know.
You got me, and I was certain I had that one. Okay, so let's take a look at the scoreboard. This is Jeff's favorite part of the show. We didn't make any progress or anything this time. We put up exactly the same score.
Yeah, but you're still ahead.
Yeah, by a margin that is made up in a single week.
But Tim, if I would have got that right, I would be ahead right now.
Yes, you would.
Oh, but Tim,
Tim.
I talked myself through
Tim.
that. The slasher sauce, just
You
like
always
Jaws,
do.
just
You
like Jaws.
always do.
And the kneeling.
The longer I let you talk, the more mistakes you make. It's awesome.
Did you know that Ted Savini's hands are in this movie? His hands are in the movie.
Ted Savini.
Yep. Tom Savini, whatever.
Okay.
Savini. T. Savini. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. TS.
TS. Okay.
TS.
Hey, everybody. We come back October 3rd with
That
Dead on
long?
the Bases.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about this before the show. Don't pretend you don't know. So, it's really irritating. So, tell me about the movie you picked for me. I'm going to predict you haven't seen this movie.
Oh, I've seen this movie.
You did?
I've seen this movie twice.
Really?
I saw it on my way to the Netherlands, and then I saw it again at home.
Okay.
It's a fun movie. It's a good movie. I think you'll like it. But
I have not. This is one of the few Jeff has given me that I have not seen. So
Yep.
I'm excited for it.
Good. You should be.
It really didn't stick around in the movie theaters that long. So I'm interested to see, is that because I think they didn't promote this movie? Because I found out it was out 2 weeks after it was already done. So
The main character is also in Stranger Things.
yes, he is. And I
What the-
gave you the movie Predator 2. Have you ever seen Predator 2?
No.
You've seen Predator, though.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah.
Yeah. This was the follow-up, I think 3 years later. We'll know more next
the heck?
next time we're on. In Predator 2, we move forward into the future, and the Predator comes down and goes into a city and hunts. And this is a guilty pleasure movie for me. I'm hoping that you like it the way I do.
Okay.
It does have a lot of people that went on to make much bigger films. I think it's entertaining as hell.
All right.
So, is it a great movie? I am not going to claim that.
Okay.
But it is, if you like violence and shooting like I do, you're going to like this one.
You're getting a feel for the type of movies I like, so you'll have an idea if I'm going to like this or not. We'll see.
Once I rewatch it, a lot of times I put my Jeff glasses on, and I go,
My Jeff glasses.
except for Return of the Living Dead, I had no clue you're
Dallas.
going to hate that.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Okay.
I think I said negative 2.
No, you didn't. All right. So next week, wait a minute. That is not correct. It isn't going to be Dead on movie review. How did that come up?
She said.
Wait, I'm double checking right now, everybody.
Did they hear this?
No, it is not Dead on the Base. It's going to be Horror Realm Radio is what's going to be on. So let me just do this. There we go. I did not know why that happened, folks. Horror Realm Radio is coming, and it's also not October 3rd. What is going on? That's supposed to say September 26th. Okay, I need to fix some things in our machine. Oh, because it's the latest. Who did that, Jeff?
Did what?
Was that me?
Did what?
I think I did that.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I screwed it up.
Hey, look at this. Tom
What?
Savini was in the chat also.
Oh my God. Holy cow. It was a star-studded chat room tonight.
Now I think
So anyway,
you guys are just playing.
everybody
Okay.
check out
Ha-ha.
Horror Realm Radio coming next week. Okay, I'm hitting buttons that are absolutely not working. Look at that. Well, usually I press that button and something happens, but we're going to just say that isn't happening. Yeah. Okay, we are going to go back now to our main stage here. That's this one. And we want to thank you all for coming out this week.
Thank you.
To Dead On Movie Reviews, your favorite podcast about horror movies and sports, because there are 1,000 movie podcasts out there about horror and sports. We're glad that you joined ours.
Yep. You
Okay.
learned something.
Thanks for really punching that up there, Jeff.
Well, what was it? What did you learn from this show?
What did I learn from this show? First of all, that you vindicated your taste. That happened this
Okay,
week because
all right.
I was like, what is wrong with this fella from last week? But I did learn, you had said something that I had not heard before.
Kevin Bacon's armpits?
I don't care about that. There was something else that you
Yeah,
had that
sweet.
was pretty good. I thought it was hilarious that Jeff just dials random numbers off of movie
Can I
screens.
explain why?
Usually you get pornography that way.
No. A few years back, I think Mountain Dew or somebody had something on there, and they flashed a number like on the telephone or whatever.
And they had a special
Yep, and if
message.
you called in, you
Yeah.
could win something. So I always do that. Whenever I see a phone number, I call. A lot of them are 555. So
So now we know a special trick that we can pull on Jeff. I expect people to be working on that.
Okay.
All right, so it's
Okay.
time to close the crypt and call the game.
you're out.
Thank all of you. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. And remember to share and subscribe to our show and feed. Like us, subscribe, review us. You can find the show at otherworldlyculture.com, of course, but you can follow our show on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, and other fine places that you find podcasts. So remember, folks, if it's sports, it's a home run. If it's horror, run home. We're dead on the bases, and we'll see you next time.
It didn't make sense.
That's what you wanted to go out on.
Yeah, I had something else in my head, like CraigCouncilSucks.com.
You didn't notice that I had his picture up
I
this
looked.
week.
When did I see it? When would you have had it up?
I wonder.
I watched all the Field
I
of
can
Dreams. I watched
slide.
every one of them.
I slide so many things past you in those slideshows. You don't catch half
Was
of
it
them.
was it in mine?
That's
Was it in
awesome.
mine? Is it my Friday the 13th
No, it
one?
was in Field of Dreams.
I
because
watched all of them.
I thought he's more likely to watch then.
Mm.
I do that to assist you, Jeff.
I know.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, bye.